In this podcast, two Gen Xers are taking a trip down memory lane, revisiting and reflecting on the cinema of the 1980s. We'll look at the hits and the flops, the studio blockbusters and art house indies, the critically acclaimed, and the universally reviled. The series is hosted by me, Lisa Molinelli, a writer and librarian, and features Dustin Morrow, a filmmaker, author, and professor of film. So pull on your leg warmers, crank up your boombox, and hop in the DeLorean. It's time for The Long Rewind. Welcome to The Long Rewind. I'm your host, Lisa. With me, as always, is Dustin.
Hello, everybody.
And today, we're here to talk with you about music videos in the 80s. So this was like a really important thing in the 80s. It's pretty much an iconic, seminal 80s thing, right?
Yeah, so as you know, I have taught many times a music videos course at my university. Mm-hmm. And we always spend the bulk of the sort of historical survey of the medium fixated on the 80s.
Yeah.
Because it really was the sort of golden era for music videos. I mean, it was the music videos that weren't invented in the 80s. There were music videos in the 70s.
Sure.
But they really achieved popularity in the 80s because, as we all know, MTV went on the air in 1981. And that was what sort of launched music videos and their importance and influence on American culture. Major
importance and influence, and MTV itself. And it was just really huge. The first music video was on MTV, to air on MTV, was The Buggles. Is that right? The video killed the radio star?
Yeah,
is that the first one?
You couldn't write it any better that it was Video Killed the Radio Star by The Buggles. Yeah, so music videos, how did you watch? What's your memory of consuming music videos in the 80s?
Well, to be honest, my memory of music videos in the 80s is longing to watch them and not being able to. As I have said many times on this podcast, I didn't grow up with cable. I just didn't have a lot of access to it. I would see it at friends' houses and occasionally and things like that. But mostly it was something that seemed really cool that I didn't really have access to. So I didn't see a lot of music videos in the 80s. I mean, I saw some. I do have some early, we had cable up until I was about 4. So I do think I saw a little bit of MTV, and I have a memory of 2 music videos. Do you want to know what they are?
Yeah, sure.
So I have the memory of seeing Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. I remember him dancing on the sidewalk and it lighting up. And I remember the Eurythmics' Sweet Dreams and being a little scared of it because the song itself has a little bit of a menacing sound, and Annie Lennox seemed very severe to me at the time. So those are the 2 I remember seeing before we didn't have cable anymore. And yeah, I mean, other than that, like I said, I saw them at friends' houses sometimes, if we're talking about the 80s. In the 90s, I got to binge on them when I would babysit at a house that had cable or something like that. I wasn't old enough in the 80s to be able to stay up to watch things like Friday night videos. I assume that was on in the 80s?
Oh, yeah.
But it was on really, really late. That was a network show, right? I think it was on NBC.
Yeah, it was NBC.
But it was on, and it showed music videos on Friday nights. But it was on for me. I lived in the Long Island area. It was on so late for me in the 80s that I would never be able to stay up and watch it. So it was really just occasionally catching one. If we're talking just about the 80s, it's different now, obviously. But yeah, what about you?
Well, same. I also grew up without cable because I grew up in the country. But my babysitter, who I went to after school as a little kid, was in town. Mm-hmm. And I had an aunt and uncle that lived in town, and spent a lot of time at those houses and watched music videos while I was there. So saw them where I could, saw them at friends' houses. I actually was a passionate consumer of Friday night videos. I watched it every week as a little kid. It was on at 10:30 in the Midwest where I grew up.
Right. And you got everything an hour earlier than we did on the East Coast.
Yeah. And so loved it. I mean, I was at the mercy of what they would show for that 90 minutes a week. And, unlike all my friends who got MTV and could put on music videos anytime they wanted, We should mention for people who are younger, who maybe know this, but maybe they don't, that music videos did air pretty much around the clock in the 80s on MTV. And this was
in
before
80s.
MTV became a more sort of traditional cable network airing television shows. And, nowadays, and this has been this way for 20 plus years, MTV does not really run music videos.
I think it's a lot of reality game shows.
It's mostly
now?
reality.
I'm not really sure.
Game shows, prank shows.
I do remember
Real World really changed everything. That was the beginning, and then Osbourne's kind of supercharged it, and it became a lot of like celebrity shows and prank shows and stuff like that.
I mean, I have to admit, when I finally did have regular access to cable, which wasn't till like the early 2000s, maybe the mid 2000s, I was so bummed. There was a part of me that was bummed that MTV wasn't showing music videos anymore, because finally I could watch it and it was not there. So, yeah,
it's interesting. It's hard to imagine, I think, for young people growing up now. But in the same way that you sort of have instant access nowadays to any film that you want to watch, for the most part,
not entirely, but
I mean, of course there are impediments to that, like what library does the streaming service that you have subscribed to, and
et cetera, et cetera.
and can you get it? Can you rent it? And that, I mean, certainly, but it's certainly like it's not like it was when we were little kids.
Yeah.
And in the same way that like, you have instant access to any song through Spotify or Pandora or YouTube or what have you. We had to wait for stuff to come on the radio.
Yep.
You would keep your blank cassette in your boombox.
Oh yeah.
Whenever you weren't playing a cassette in your boombox, because you had to be ready at all times for when the song you wanted might come on the radio, so that you can leap for your boombox and record it.
Yes,
off the radio.
That was one of my favorite weekend activities. I think it was Sundays, where Casey's Top 40 was on.
Oh, right.
Casey Kasem's Top 40. That was a big time for me to tape songs off the radio, because you knew pretty much that some songs were going to show up on Casey's Top 40. So I would hang out there with my stereo.
And it would suck because you would always get Casey talking over the beginning
how much could you cut out?
End of it. But it was the same way with music videos, is what I'm trying to say, is that, YouTube, we have YouTube now, you can basically access any music video.
Right.
I mean, that's the distribution channel for music videos nowadays, since it's not on cable anymore.
Yeah.
So you can get any video anytime, including brand new ones.
Yep.
Because that's where they bow, there and TikTok and social media.
Right. I mean, and that's really fun for me, because I'm finally getting to catch up on all this video watching I wasn't able to do. So now, you like to show me lots of videos.
So in the 80s, though, it was the same thing. You had to wait for...
Right.
I had friends and my cousin who would just set a tape up and before they went to bed and just tape overnight on MTV, so that they could fast forward and watch the videos they want to see.
Oh, that's of course, makes sense.
Yeah, but when you didn't have access to cable, it was pretty much Friday night videos. I mean, there weren't a lot of other. I mean, they would occasionally show them on like local dance shows, and there were some sort of variety-esque shows like Solid Gold and those kinds of shows.
They didn't usually show music. This may be a little bit.
I don't think they did, but there were shows like that did. And it was just harder to see and find music videos like you. I mean, I'm a huge, as you know, the 80s music is, 99% of what I listen to. And so, I love it. And it still took, until the invention of YouTube, and its popular adoption for me to see a lot of these videos for 80s songs. Like a lot of videos that I didn't even know existed, a lot of songs that I had no idea had videos, seeing those and just sort of being amazed by them.
Oh my gosh, I just remembered one more place I actually got to consume music videos at that time, like contemporarily, and it was at the roller rink. So, do you remember this?
Oh yeah, they would. Yeah, our roller rink would do that too. They would play them up on a screen.
Yeah, they would lower the screen, and I remember seeing Twisted Sister and being totally freaked out by them. What was their super popular song? Why can't I think of it?
We're Not Gonna Take It.
Yeah, We're Not Gonna Take It. I remember being scared by that at the roller rink. And I remember seeing Madonna's La Isla Bonita. That was a song I really liked, and they played it at the roller rink.
I remember people, when they played a video people really wanted to see, people would stop skating.
Right.
And they would just stand there, and you would have to kind of skate around the crowd that would just stand there in front of the screen on their skates in the middle of the rink watching.
I think I probably
video.
did that. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
So why are we covering music videos on a show about 80s cinema? Well, in part, it's because we look at these things as miniature films. They were so culturally important in the 80s, and they had such a massive influence on fashion and politics, and yes, film, that we sort of have to talk about them as a point of influence. But also, they were a big training ground for directors that went on to become prominent feature filmmakers, and I have a little list I'll go over in a second here. And also, many of them just functioned as miniature films.
Yeah.
So why did directors want to do these? Well, they wanted to do them in part. It was never really for the money, although music videos in the 80s did have real significant budgets in the way that they don't now. There's just no money in music videos now, even for the big artists.
Oh, that's
really
so interesting. Wow.
Well, that's not true. For some of the big artists, like Taylor Swift is spending money on her videos, but most artists are really not. That wasn't true in the 80s. In the 80s, there was a lot of attention given them, despite the kind of charmingly slapdash quality of a lot of 80s videos, which I'm sure we'll talk about. Because they were so new and exciting and
they were sales
important
tool too,
to
right?
selling, which is the other thing that we have to mention, which is that music videos are essentially, above all other things, a commercial.
Right.
Radiohead, when they released their collection of music videos on VHS and DVD, which is a thing that artists used to do, they titled it 7 television commercials. And Radiohead makes pretty crazy, borderline avant-garde in some cases, videos. So when they're calling it a TV commercial, it really demonstrates an understanding of like, what are these things for? And what they're for primarily is to sell albums, or at least that's what they were for in the 80s. They no longer have that kind of import. And so it's kind of like when I teach this class, one of the first things I ask students on the first day is, what are you doing here? Like, why, like, music videos I know they don't mean to the youth of today what they meant to us, what they meant to Gen X. So why are they there? And, they're there because music videos are really fun to make.
They're super fun.
They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
And they are still very much a ground for experimentation, for trying new things. We talk about a lot about a lot of the technological developments that came out of music videos, like the bullet time effect from The Matrix that everybody lost their mind over.
Right.
What came from a Coolio music video.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff like that from the history of music videos, stuff that was tried first.
I was going to ask you about
videos.
that. Okay. So,
these major filmmakers, people like Scorsese and De Palma, these guys didn't need the money. And they didn't need to try to get more famous from making these things. In most cases, you don't really know who directed a music video.
Yeah.
And so why were Scorsese and De Palma making these things? Well, they were making them because they were quick, easy, like 2, 3, 4 day commitments where they could go and exercise their creative muscle and do something that maybe they don't get to do when they're dedicating 2 years of their lives to a film project.
I was going to ask you what the average shooting time for a music video back then was. It sounds like it was days, like just a few days.
I mean, a day in most cases. If you had a budget, then maybe multiple days. But when I lived in LA in the late 80s, I worked on a bunch of music videos, both in production and post-production. Right. And even the biggest ones never had more than a day to shoot.
Wow, yeah.
So, I mean, but even by then, the budgets were falling. The labels were just not putting the money behind them. And they did it kind of like as negative pickups for the artists. So it came out of the budget for music videos comes out of the profits of the album.
Oh,
and so the label pays for it, but then the artist ends up actually paying for it because they don't pay the artist until they recoup.
It's like an advance.
Yeah, it's like an advance, essentially, So just to give you a sense, and I'm just talking about the 80s here, I'm not talking about other directors, although some of the most famous ones came after this, like Spike Jonze got his start in music videos. Jonathan Glazer got his start Anton Corbijn got his start in music videos, and famously David Fincher
Oh, yeah.
directed videos for Madonna and the Wallflowers. So they were some major directors that came out of directing music videos. But from the 80s, we had Simon West, who went on to do like Con Air, Lara Croft, The Expendables. He made that amazing video for Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Catherine Bigelow did a video for New Order called
cool.
The Perfect Kiss. John Landis, of course, did Thriller. A lot of people know that. Scorsese, of course, did Bad by Michael Jackson. That's the one in the subway. A lot of people know that as well. That one actually was a full 25-minute short film. I remember watching that when it debuted on network television. It has a whole storyline, that video.
Right.
So it was like a full short Scorsese film.
Yep.
The famous Dancing in the Dark video by Bruce Springsteen, where he pulls Courtney Cox up on stage, that was directed by the great Brian De Palma.
Oh, wow.
Cyndi Lauper's Money Changes Everything was directed by Patricia Birch, who was one of the most famous choreographers in all of films. She choreographed Grease, and she went on to direct Grease 2.
Grease 2, wow, okay.
Dancing on the Ceiling by Lionel Richie was directed by Stanley Donen, who, of course, directed Charade and Royal Wedding with Fred Astaire.
Well, that explains
he
Dancing on the Ceiling.
He recreates the revolving room effect from
of
Royal Wedding for the Dancing on the Ceiling video.
That definitely explains a lot. Wow.
Billy Idol's Dancing with Myself was directed by Tobe Hooper, who made the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, among other famous horror films, Poltergeist. The actor Timothy Hutton, Oscar winner, directed Drive by the Cars.
Oh.
Jonathan Kaplan, very prominent filmmaker from that period, directed videos by Rod Stewart and several by John Cougar Mellencamp. Mary Lambert, who went on to make a number of horror films like Pet Sematary, got her start in videos. She did a lot of Madonna. A lot of Madonna's most famous videos were by Mary Lambert. She also did stuff for Janet Jackson and the Eurythmics. One of the most famous music video directors of the 80s was an Australian guy named Russell Mulcahy.
Yeah.
Who went on to do the cult film Razorback, as well as Highlander, and some prominent movies in the 90s that totally bombed, like The Shadow and The Real McCoy. He did videos for Elton John, Bonnie Tyler, The Motels, Billy Joel, Culture Club. He did Video Killed the Radio Star, so he was the director of the first video.
He's like the original.
He did Betty Davis Eyes.
Wow.
He did some prominent stuff by Fleetwood Mac. He did True by Spandau Ballet. He made Young Turks for Rod Stewart. He did White Wedding for Billy Idol.
Dang.
And he famously was the go-to guy for Duran Duran in the 80s. He directed most of the major Duran Duran videos, including Rio and Hungry Like the Wolf, which were their biggest videos.
Highly acclaimed. So he's like the OG of music video directors.
Yeah, he's probably like the all-time great music video director, because for all of those directors, all those artists, he was kind of doing their biggest songs. And if you see Highlander or Razorback, for that matter, you can see the music video roots there. It's very there in the rhythms of the cutting of the use of Queen's songs in Highlander.
Yeah, most definitely.
Bob Rafelson, who did 5 Easy Pieces and a bunch of acclaimed indie films from the 70s, did All Night Long by Lionel Richie, which is mind-blowing, because that video couldn't be further away from a
movie in the 70s?
From a Bob Rafelson movie.
Yeah.
And John Sayles, the great director and writer of 8 Men Out and Apollo 13 and Passion Fish and Lone Star, he did a lot of stuff for Springsteen, which kind of makes sense.
That kind of makes sense, sure.
Yeah, including most of the videos off of Born in the USA. Julian Temple was a British filmmaker who was another major video director. He went on to do Absolute Beginners with Bowie, Earth Girls Are Easy, and a bunch of great rock and roll documentaries like the Sex Pistols and the Shane MacGowan and Joe Strummer and all those documentaries. He did a lot of stuff. The Kinks, Rolling Stones, Culture Club.
Wow.
Bowie, English Beat, Priest, Sade, Tom Petty, Paul McCartney, Janet Jackson. He worked a lot. And Steve Barron was the other really big one. Steve Barron made the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie and the Coneheads, but will more importantly be known to you and I as the director of Electric Dreams.
Oh, yeah. I love that
movie. Which is a wonderfully underseen movie from the 80s that people should seek out and watch if they haven't. It's a movie about a guy who ends up in a competition for a girl with his home computer.
I mean, it's poised for a reboot, considering AI.
And that's another movie that feels like a music video.
Yeah,
it does.
Movie. It very much does. That's true.
He did stuff for Bryan Adams. He did Steppin' Out for Joe Jackson.
Oh.
He did Human League. He did Billie Jean. Money for Nothing. Take on Me.
Wow, some of the
Electric
biggest.
Avenue.
Wow.
Africa.
Wow.
Borderline and Burning Up for Madonna. She Blinded Me with Science.
I mean, these are some of the biggest videos of the 80s.
Yeah, he directed a pretty big handful of what are considered the most famous music videos of all time. So it's really Steve Barron and Russell Mulcahy who are kind of the guys, right?
Wow, that's so interesting. Huh. I wonder if you want to say something about, because this surprised me when you told me about it, about how the ideas for music videos happen. Like, I always thought they came from the artists, and maybe sometimes they do, but can you say something about that?
Yeah, sometimes they do, but more often than not, they come from the director. The directors are represented by production companies that produce music videos. At least this is the way they used to do it. It was the way they did it when I was working in music videos anyway, is that kind of like an agency will represent a filmmaker. They will have production companies that have affiliations with certain filmmakers for the purpose of making music videos, which is to say that they don't represent those directors like an agency does. So if the director was going to make, like for example, the company I worked for, one of our directors was Ben Stiller.
Oh.
Ben Stiller did not, if he was going to make a movie, did not have anything to do with this company that I worked for. But if he was going to do a music video, he did it through us.
Okay.
So it kind of works that way. They kind of repped directors that way.
Specifically, yeah.
What would happen is that oftentimes there were music video coordinators at these companies that kind of worked as the middleman between the productions, the music videos themselves, and the labels. And sometimes the labels or the artists would have a specific director in mind. Often they would just send the song out to the major. There weren't very many of these companies. David Fincher's company, Propaganda, was one of the big ones. The one that I worked at was called Palomar. There were just a few of us, and they would send the song out to the companies, and then the music video coordinator would listen to it, decide which directors might be good for it, and send it to those directors to gauge their interest. And if they had an interest, they would write up like a one-page pitch for what they would do with it.
Okay, so you kind of were bidding for it with your pitch, kind of, maybe.
Yeah. So when I'm teaching music video production, I teach the students how to write these pitches because they're very specific. They have kind of a different form than other pitches, which I won't bore you with. But the thing that's kind of cool about them, at least for my students, is that usually you're working the other way.
Yeah.
Usually you're kind of building a soundtrack in post-production. And this is, I always tell my students to think of it kind of like a sight track. That you're being given completed audio, and your job is to create images for it rather than the other way around, which is kind of the more common way you might do it in filmmaking.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about this process and thinking it was so interesting and so not what I expected. So yeah, that's really interesting.
I'm sure for a lot of artists that it does begin with them.
Sure.
But if you see interviews with a lot of artists talking about their music videos, like it's more often than not, they'll say like, well, when this idea was brought to us, or when they pitched this to us, or they will, essentially intimate that they had nothing to do with it, nothing to do with the idea. What's wild is how, and we can't understate this, again, for people that weren't around in the 80s to see this in real time, how important music videos were to the establishing of an artist's image.
Sure.
It really changed, so much so that it changed the kind of music that was getting made. And it went hand in hand with the explosion of new wave music. But part of new wave music was your appearance.
Yeah.
And that was just really not a thing in the 70s. And there were a lot of artists from the 70s that saw their careers kind of decline, if not crash and burn in the 80s because they couldn't make the transition to a post-music video music industry.
Yeah.
They just didn't look right.
Yeah.
They didn't have the camera presence. And there were artists who rightly were, kind of marked as not having the musical prowess of a lot of these artists that saw their careers fading, who became very popular because they just knew how to work with a camera.
Yeah.
People like Madonna, who I love, but if you listen to her early vocals, I mean, she really was not a good singer. I think she became a good singer later. She had lessons in between. Yeah, I can't remember which album it was. True Blue and Like a Prayer. I think there were music lessons in there. Like she sounds really different,
right,
on those albums.
And she didn't even start out as a musician, right? She started as a dancer.
Yeah, she was a dancer. I mean, and there are a lot of one-offs too, right? Like Tony Basil's Mickey. Like there were all these artists that were. The video, what you could argue was maybe more responsible for the success of that song or that artist than the music at the time.
Yeah.
So we were going to go through our own lists of of our favorite music videos from the 80s. But real quick, I found an article from Rolling Stone. It was published about a decade ago where they were trying to get at the popular themes of 80s music videos. Just curious what you thought of these because I have some thoughts on them.
Yeah, sure. Let's hear
it. They opened with talking about budget, which I mentioned, and there were some very low budget videos in the 80s, like really so many videos of people just standing in empty warehouses or in clubs playing
cloth.
Yeah. Or that like they were just recordings of their live shows, like
right.
Like Springsteen actually did that a lot. A lot of his videos are just recordings of his live shows. But if you put on a live show like Springsteen, then why not?
I mean, sure, yeah. Go for it.
But then some of the things they mentioned, some of the motifs, Tough Girls.
Oh, sure.
Like Benatar, Joan Jett.
Bananarama a little bit.
Wendy Williams.
Yeah.
The hypersexualization of girls. So ZZ Top's Legs. David Lee Roth, California Girls, and Motley Crue's Girls, 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 which is set in a strip club. Yeah. There were also songs like Hot for Teacher by Van Halen, which the video is exactly what you would think it would be. And Rio is the one that I'm always surprised doesn't get more kind of flack for that. There's a very hard R-rated cut of Duran Duran's Rio. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I'm not sure.
But it really, it breaks women's bodies into pieces.
Oh, my.
So you hardly ever see like a whole woman. It's like,
you mean
here's
like
her elbow, here's her leg.
It's
just, there's
you mean
something
in terms
kind
of the way it's edited.
There's something really gross about it.
Yeah.
Novelty rap videos. Like Biz Marquis, Just a Friend.
Yeah.
The Twist by the Fat Boys.
Parents just don't understand.
Yeah, parents don't understand. Got to fight for your right to party.
Yeah.
Cameos. Joe Piscopo shows up in Keeping the Faith by Billy Joel. Apparently, Danny Aiello is in Papa Don't Preach.
Yes.
Chevy Chase, Rodney Dangerfield. A lot of videos in Ghostbusters, or a lot of cameos in Ghostbusters videos.
Yep.
Yeah.
WWF wrestlers and Cyndi Lauper videos.
A lot of that was like tie-ins, I think, trying to tie in to like whatever the movie was. That was a big thing too, was the movie-based videos where they just take a lot of clips from the film.
Oh, yeah.
And then occasionally cut to the artist. All of Kenny Loggins' videos. Like if you watch the Danger Zone video, it's just him in like a hotel room dressed like Maverick,
around,
and then but most of the video is footage from Top Gun. His Footloose video is kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Phil Collins had one of those, Against All Odds. A lot of Prince's Purple Rain videos were just reconstituted footage from Purple Rain.
I mean, fair enough. But yeah.
There were a bunch of them, so many of them. Flashdance had some, Back to the Future, Beverly Hills Cop. They all had these movie-based music videos.
Yeah.
The avant-garde, they have like She Blinded Me with Science. Slave to the Rhythm by Grace Jones is one of the weirdest 5 minutes of footage you would ever see. Really, go watch it if you haven't seen it. It's on YouTube. Slave to the Rhythm by
strange.
Grace Jones.
Or avant-garde, I should say. Yeah, it's very avant-garde.
Corn, Cheese, Can't Fight This Feeling. A lot of these sort of videos with really hyper earnest.
I see what you're saying. That's the theme.
Playing
yeah.
Screen, or just like sort of odd. Safety Dance by Men Without Hats is a very strange music video. Separate Ways by Journey is one of the cringiest videos ever. It's pretty bad. Safe Sex. Some of these that they've noted, I feel like, are more about
that's the theme.
Themes of the song and the video. But yeah, I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
Beaches. A lot of songs set on beaches. I'm Still Standing. Cherish. If This Is It.
Right.
Rio. A lot of black and white. Summer of '69, Boys of Summer, Every Breath You Take, Take on Me. These are all black and white videos.
Or at least partially black and white.
They also did, Rolling Stone magazine did a poll of readers to see what their 10 greatest music videos of the 80s were. Here's what they came up with.
Okay.
Number 10 was You Might Think by The Cars. Number 9 was Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. Number 8, One by Metallica. Number 7, Boys of Summer by Don Henley. Number 6, When Doves Cry by Prince. Number 5, Van Halen's Hot for Teacher. Number 4, Dire Straits' Money for Nothing. Number 3, Aha's Take on Me. Number 2, Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer. And number 1 was Thriller by MJ, of course.
Sure.
And they also did their own top 10 from the editors of the magazine. Here was their rundown of the top 10 from the editors. Number 10, they had Land of Confusion by Genesis. Number 9, Need You Tonight by INXS. Number 8, Born in the USA by Springsteen. Number 7, Sweet Child of Mine by GNR. Number 6, Legs by ZZ Top. Number 5, Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi. I can't even think of what that is. Number 4, Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard. Number 3, Money for Nothing by Dire Straits. 2, Sledgehammer, and 1, Thriller.
So the top 3 are exactly the same for them as they are for...
Well, no, not quite.
Oh,
but close.
Pretty close. Yeah, similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Weirdly, the editors did not put Take on Me in their top 10.
That's surprising.
Which is wild to me.
That is wild.
So shall we talk about our own lists?
Oh, sure. I think neither of us were able to stick to a top 10. We both have pretty much 20. So
did you do like an honorable mention section? Because I found, as a lover of 80s music videos, I found it unbearably hard to make this list.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I did in the sense that I have 19 here.
So no, because I did 20. I did a top 20.
Oh, and then you did an
honorable mention.
Yeah, I think I just didn't have the energy for it or something. But so I guess I didn't. I mean, I didn't know if you meant like 10 and then the rest are honorable mentions. But I have 19.
Okay.
So,
well, I'm going to read my honorable mentions.
Yeah, let's
first.
hear them.
I'm going to race through them. Okay. I'm not even going to give the artist. You can look them up if you want. Billie Jean, Never Gonna Give You Up, The Safety Dance, Uptown Girl, You Can Call Me Al. That one almost made my top 20. I love that video.
It's a good one, yeah.
Rainbow in the Dark.
Yeah.
Englishman in New York. I Missed Again. That's by Phil Collins. I Ran. That's I Ran So Far Away.
Flock of Seagulls.
Flock of Seagulls, yeah. Last Christmas by Wham. Hungry Like the Wolf. What's Love Got to Do with It? Cool It Now, that's New Edition.
Oh, love that.
Walk Like an Egyptian. Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. Heartbeat by Don Johnson. That's right. I said it. Watch it. It's incredible.
It is a good video.
It's like a 5-minute episode of Miami Vice.
It is, actually.
Which is what it should be and what it was.
Yes.
And the song is so hilariously terrible.
It's real bad.
Really, and he's selling it so hard.
It's very high production value.
She Works Hard for the Money.
Oh, yeah.
And Bad by Michael Jackson. Those were my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
I think that's a good list.
I think it's a great list. And I mean, this is the problem with this list is like, I'm like, oh man, I should have had a lot of those on my list and don't. And
Okay.
so feel bad about it. But
So here's how we'll do this, I
yeah.
think.
Okay.
We'll trade off doing, I'll say my 20 and then you say your number 20 and then we'll 19, 18, so on and so forth.
Okay.
If I name something that is on your list, then we'll discuss it briefly.
Okay.
And if you name something that's on my list, then we'll discuss it briefly. You tell me where you had it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your number 20?
Well, I put it there just now because you reminded me. Rainbow in the Dark by
Dio?
Dio, because I love Dio, and it's a really fun. I mean, it's him. I forget what all it is, but there is a great. He's just like on a rooftop in high heel boots.
Yeah, that's
Dio,
the part I
which
remember
love.
too. But
Yeah.
there's also
There's a narrative. I think.
yeah, there's something about a guy being arrested for being a creep or something.
Yeah,
like
on
that.
the streets of wherever they are.
London,
Yeah.
I think.
London, I think. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy it because I like Dio very
is
much.
Lisa's spirit animal.
Spirit rocker.
Spirit rocker.
Yeah,
Spirit
one of
hard
them. I feel
rocker.
like I probably
Yeah.
have more than one, but
Because he, like her, is extremely short.
yeah, he's small but
And
mighty.
small but
Yeah,
mighty, that's right.
And he seems to have classical training. He has to
Yeah.
belt the way he does.
Yeah,
So,
it's a
which I
great.
appreciate.
It's a great song and it's a fun video.
Yeah. it
My
is.
number 20 is "I'm on Fire" by Springsteen,
Oh yeah.
which is one of those John Sayles videos, and it plays like a film noir from like the 50s.
I wish I
which
knew
is
this
what I love
video
about it.
better. I bet I would really love it.
It's got some dialogue. He works in a gas station,
Ooh.
and a woman brings her car in, and they kind of have this connection. And then he takes her car
Right.
out to her house at the end of the night, and
Right.
it has this very, that song is just very intense, but like
Yeah, it's
not
a beautiful
fast
song.
paced.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
And the video is the same way. It has this kind of smoking, sultry noir quality to it. You would love it.
I would love it. I wish I had known it because that would definitely make my list. But yeah, it's great. It's a wonderful song and that sounds really good. Yeah. That's a kind of a weird thing. I mean, it sounds like the more serious version of Uptown Girl a little bit.
It is,
Which
actually.
is also like,
That's good, yeah.
also set in a gas station
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the same way. Yeah.
No, very much.
Yep.
What's your 19?
We watched this video recently. Janet Jackson's "When I Think of You," I think is.
Oh, yeah. Super charming.
I mean, for me, and you'll see a lot of this on my list, any music video that evokes a dance party or feels like a dance party to me is like, that's a great video.
Yeah.
And I feel like "When I Think of You," it's so bright and bouncy and such a fun scripted dance party, or a choreographed dance party kind of situation.
And like it all looks like one shot.
Yes. Oh, yeah, it does.
Which was really cool.
It's really cool. She had a lot of great, super cool music videos, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's one of them.
My number 19 is "You Might Think" by The Cars.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Which is a very corny animated video with the Rick Ocasek and The Cars kind of playing all over this lady, like bothering her.
That's right. She's
Like she
just
takes
trying
a
to-
bath and
yeah.
and then the band is like floating on
creepy.
on top of the soap.
Right.
It just has this very charming kind of rudimentary bad 80s animation.
Right. When you
and
look at
effects,
it, yeah, the look of it.
that were state of the art for their era, I'm sure. I know it
Absolutely.
won Best Video at the MTV Video Awards. the
That
year it
can't have
came
been
out.
technically easy to pull off back then, that making them small on top of something else and making it sort of look real.
Yeah. But now it's like fun for the other reason, which is that it has that kind of corny.
It does look cheesy. Yeah.
What is your 18?
We're on 18. I had Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers "Don't Come Around Here."
Remind me of what that is.
So, well, his music
I know
videos
the
were
song.
always
Remind
a
me
bit.
the video.
Yeah, it's basically Alice in Wonderland, and
Oh,
he's playing
that's
the
that
Mad
one.
Hatter.
Yeah.
And I just really like the Alice in Wonderland scheme of it, and that he's playing the Mad Hatter, and it's got all these weird angles, and Alice is a cake at one point, and it's fun, and I like that song.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
My 18. This is the only place where I cheated on my list.
Okay.
This is my dance party entry.
Okay.
Because there were so many music videos in the 80s that were just these very bright neon colors, people wearing bright primary colors,
Oh, yeah.
neon greens and
It's
pinks.
like 80s
and,
fantasy.
and dancing.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
like videos, these are videos that just put an absolute smile on my face and make me
Yes.
want to jump off the couch. So
Yes.
I had a tie here, but I could probably add when I think of you to this list now that since you mentioned it, I just didn't think of it.
Yeah.
But I had a tie between All Night Long, Rhythm of the Night, and I Want to Dance with Somebody
Well, I
by
will.
Whitney. These are all, and Whitney like was never cuter than in the I Want to Dance with Somebody
so
video.
much fun. Yeah. And you're right. They all are almost the same video in some ways. But I also had DeBarge. You know that DeBarge's Rhythm of the Night is one of my favorite music videos of all time.
What number did you have?
That's at number 5 for me.
Yeah.
Because it's a music video I can watch over and over and over again, and it just makes me so happy. I just think it's like I want to live in that video. It looks like so much fun. Yeah.
And super fun, used in The Last Dragon in a really fun way.
Yeah. And I always like that song too. I mean, I wonder how much influence that has over my choices, is like that I just really love the song. But yeah, anyway.
Well, it helps. I mean, I love all these songs.
Yeah. So
it's hard to watch it's hard to love a video and not like the song.
Yeah. That's true.
mean, every one of the songs on my list, I'm looking at it, are like among my favorite songs.
Agreed. Yeah.
My number 17 was, you didn't do your 17, did you?
No, but you can go ahead.
No, go ahead. I don't want to fall out of rhythm.
I had the Eurythmics Sweet Dreams for number 17, partially because I'd mentioned
it made such an impression on you when you were young.
It made such an impression on me. I had to have it in here somewhere because it's one of the first things I ever saw.
Remind people what happens in Sweet Dreams.
Well, I don't remember the whole thing, but the stuff that I remember is Annie Lennox. She's like in a schoolroom or something. She's like sitting on a desk and there's a globe and she's like pointing at a projection screen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's what I don't know. She was just so severe, and it's that's a fantastic song. But it felt so menacing and weird, and I don't know. It made a big impression on me. So I don't know what else happened.
Eurythmics were like the cool
they were so
art rockers.
Cool. Yeah,
right?
Definitely. Yeah.
I remember that album. I bought that album at Kmart.
So I think that's all. I love that.
I don't know why I remember that, but I remember buying that album at Kmart and just being kind of mesmerized by the front cover, which was her, and she's doing the Rosie the Riveter pose, kind of. She's pumping her iron, and she's wearing this black mask, and she has that shock of short red hair.
That black mask scared me too, but I think in an interested
so mesmerized
way.
by that cover image.
She's mesmerizing. They were mesmerizing, so that's my 17.
Okay, my number 17 is, I think, maybe the first appearance of the only artist on here that I have more than one video from. I tried to do like one video per artist to try and get a lot more artists on my list, but I just couldn't not put multiple videos by this artist on here, no matter how hard I tried.
Yep.
It's The Sensual World by Kate Bush.
I have that one too, as I'm sure you knew.
And so this is the one where she's kind of dressed like a
Renaissance lady,
and she does this very strange but mesmerizing and hypnotic skipping dance through a forest that kind of looks like
forest.
But it looks like a fake forest.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like a forest out of like Ridley Scott's Legend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I love.
And it's just sort of like it's a weirdly hypnotic video.
And she's, and her outfit is billowing, there's wind coming at her, and she's dancing in her Kate Bush way. Yeah. That's on my list too. That's way up at number 4 for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a deep love for, Kate Bush, but also that faux Ridley Scott Legend forest aesthetic. So I love that.
I actually have 3 Kate Bush songs on my list.
I have another one too. Yeah,
I couldn't, which is crazy, but what was your number 16?
My number 16 was in your honorable mentions. I had Michael Jackson's Billie Jean for the same reason that I had the Eurythmics was, again, it was like one of the first videos I ever saw, and it just made a big impression on me. And I loved him like dancing on the light up sidewalk. And I don't know.
Well, it's certainly one of the most famous music videos of all time.
It's actually, I know this is maybe sad. It's my only Michael Jackson on the list just because the other ones are so, I love Thriller. Thriller's great, but it's everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
And I love John Landis, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It's just, I stuck to one Michael Jackson, and that's the one I went with. So,
fair enough.
Yeah.
My number 16 is Our House by
I have that on my list too. I love that one.
Which is, there's not much to it. It looks like it was made for about $3. It's just the band in their house. I mean, it makes sense in that video because they're singing about their house. But it's just the band, and there's something so fun and kind of charming, and they're just kind of goofing off. And I don't know.
Yeah.
There's not much to it, but it's such a charming, fun video that you wish you could like be inside it and kind of hang out with the guys.
Well, that's also on my list.
And they kind of they evoke it in Sing Street.
That's
really
right,
heavily.
they do.
Like there's the band playing in their house. It looks exactly like it comes right out of that video.
Sing Street is a movie that
Sing Street is a movie by John Carney, the guy that made Once. It's a really wonderful movie that you should see if you haven't.
It actually very much celebrates music videos and evokes a lot of that too. But so that was also on my list. I had that at 9. Because that's another one of those videos I can watch over and over again, and it makes me super happy. What I like about it is it's got a very British comedy quality to me.
Yeah, like the Ealing Street comedies, or there's a little bit
even
of Python,
a little Python
in it. Yeah.
It's very tongue in cheek. There's that one point they're in a bathhouse or like a sauna or something, and they're all wearing like a kerchief on their head that's tied in 4 points with the pepper pot thing. I mean, I love the Britishness of it. And they just look like they're having a great time. There's a lot of British tropes in that video that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
I like it.
What's your number 15?
My number 15 is the Go-Go's Head Over Heels, because I think it's really fun. There's not a lot to it, but
it's a great video. It's very sparkly, and it's them kind of hamming it up in front of primary color backgrounds.
And
it's one of the more
fun.
colorful videos.
Yeah, it's super colorful. Yeah. And I just love all the like close-ups they do of all their faces while they're playing their instruments. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a great song too.
Yeah.
Mine is Every Breath You Take by the Police.
Of course. I wondered I don't know if do you have more than one Police on here?
Believe it or not, no, that's it.
Wow. Okay.
And no Sting.
Wow.
Which I know blows your mind.
That does blow my mind a little bit.
For those at home, Sting and the Police have been my favorite artists since I was little.
So why Every Breath? Why that one?
Yeah, and why no Sting? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I thought about I love Fortress Around Your Heart, which is kind of a great video.
I don't know the video, but the music's great. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's that one where he's like, there's a guy with a camera on him and he's standing up on the stage in this empty, I don't know, there's just his videos, as much as I love Sting, as you know, his videos are not the greatest thing. Like I had Englishman in New York and every little thing she does is magic down in my honorable mention list.
Yeah, those are fun.
I just don't know that I think he was as good a video artist as he was a
musician.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although there are some videos by him that I like very much. Every Breath You Take, I love though. It's because it's just this beautiful black and white,
it is beautiful.
Really intense, again, kind of film noir looking.
It's beautifully shot.
It looks like a thriller almost.
Yeah, it does. It has that feeling. Song is kind of a thriller.
And it's evocative of that song just because, people misconstrue that song. I think people think that people that don't listen carefully enough think that is a love song.
Right.
Sting always tells a story about having a good laugh that people come up to him on occasion and say like, "Oh, Every Breath You Take was the song at my wedding," and he's always like, "Oh, good luck."
Good luck to you. Yeah.
I mean, it's a song about stalking and obsession, and it's a very dark song, and the video kind of gets that, which is cool.
I think that's right.
What's your 14?
I went with Men Without Hats Safety Dance.
Yeah.
Because I also think it's a weird.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's old British.
So for people who don't remember,
it's
kind of this like Wicker Man-esque sort of kind of Renaissance fair. Like there's a maypole.
Yeah.
There's
Morris dancing.
There's a little person in it in a jester costume, and then there's like I don't know how you describe the girl.
I don't remember, but you're right. It's like a Renaissance fair, like a maypole celebration. It's very Wicker Man, and I just love that about
folklore. It looks like a folklore.
It does look like, but it's also like it's one of those things where it's not like if you hear that song on the radio, and then like the first time I saw this video, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense, but I kind of love that about it. That it just doesn't seem like what you would see if you heard that song. So I don't know.
Yeah. My number 14 is I Can Dream About You by Dan Hartman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I should have put that on my list.
which is there's not much to it. It's set in a bar that looks like way more fun than any bar you've ever been in your life.
Like every video.
It's Joyce Heiser who's the lead from Just One of the Guys, the 80s classic Just One of the Guys. She's looking absolutely beautiful in it. And Dan Hartman plays the bartender.
Yep.
Who they kind of flirt with each other just with their eyes, and he gets her a drink, and then they both end up on top of the bar dancing with each other. And they cut in some clips from one of my favorite movies of all time, Streets of Fire, which that song is featured in. That's like playing on the TV in the background at the bar. And it's a lot of fun. It's just a fun, charming video for a fun, charming song.
I wish I'd put that on my list. That is great. I love that one.
What's your number 13?
This is, I guess, a bit of a cheat. I did a tie between Madonna's Papa Don't Preach and Material Girl. I actually don't remember Papa Don't Preach all that well. I remember a little about it, but I know it does have this sort of filmic quality. Danny Aiello's in it. But Material Girl is one, like, that was my favorite Madonna song as a kid. And it's all, gentlemen prefer blondes. Diamonds are a girl's best friend in its aesthetic. So
yeah, well,
I loved that. Yeah.
Surprise, number 13, Papa Don't Preach for me.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is where Madonna comes in on my list, which is funny that she's so low in some ways because she's kind of like the
she's like
80s music
queen.
video artist in
she's
some
made
ways.
so many great ones.
But yeah, this is, and I was trying to think like which Madonna video do I want to put on my list.
Yeah.
And I ultimately arrived at, I just watched a couple while I was trying to decide, and I had forgotten how wonderfully cinematic Papa Don't Preach is. It's really well shot, and the acting in it is actually really good, including Madonna.
Yeah, you mentioned that too.
Danny Aiello is great in it. He obviously has no dialogue because there is no dialogue.
Right.
But he really
gives their performance.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really kind of like heart-rending. It's weird to say it because it should just be corny and not work at all, but it totally does. And if you haven't seen it in a while, go watch it again. You'll see what I mean. It's like surprisingly effective. It's more than most of the videos on my list. It feels like a little 5-minute actual movie. Right. Has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and a narrative.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is kind of unusual for a music video, especially in the 80s. Yeah. I hear you on like why only Madonna and one and why is it where it is. I think again it was just that whole everybody, she's so popular, her videos are so great. It's like I'd rather talk about other ones, I guess, to some degree. I don't know.
But and I don't want to blow it, but I'm willing, and I don't know what your list is. We should say that you and I did not exchange lists before recording. Yeah. I'm willing to bet that you and I have the same number one. And that's a video that everybody has seen and is the most famous video of all time.
Then I don't think it is the same.
Oh, okay.
Because mine is not that famous.
All right, what's your number 12?
I had Bruce Springsteen's Tunnel of Love, which is probably not the one everybody would pick, but
that is a good video. You're right.
You showed it to me very recently, and I just loved it. I fell in love with the song and the video, and I just thought it was great.
Yeah. Black and white footage of like a Jersey Shore
carnival.
Carnival. Yeah, it's great.
I liked it.
It looks really cool. It has a really grainy, filmy image. It looks like it was shot on 16 millimeter.
Yeah. And there are way more famous Bruce. Again, this is another one of those situations where I don't have other Bruce Springsteen on my list, and I know there's lots of super famous,
wonderful. So many good ones.
There's
Brilliant
really
Disguise almost went on my list. That's the single shot that just zooms in on his face through through the whole video. It's so good.
I just don't know that many of them either. That's another problem. But yeah for me.
Number 12 from me is Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cindy.
Yeah, I had her too, of course.
What number did you have her at?
She was at 10 for me, 10. So pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. Just so, I mean, it is what it is. It's just so much fun. She's such a, she's one of those artists for whom the medium seemed to be created.
It embraced her.
She's so visual.
She is. She's
everything from her hair to her costume to the way she dances to what she does with her videos. I mean, she's perfect for music videos.
She's got tons of charisma. I think. And yeah, that's one of those music videos for me that's like, it's like a dance party. There is a dance party in it. They're dancing down the street, for heaven's sake. So yeah, I love that video.
Yeah. And it's very New York.
Very New York of a certain kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and time. Yep.
What's your number 11?
I had Steppin' Out by Joe Jackson. Jackson? Am I right?
This is my number 4.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It should probably be higher for me, but I put it in a little late, and so I just
So why did you choose it?
Well, I feel like I should have you talk about it because you love it more. Why don't you talk about Steppin' Out? I mean, I love it about the same amount, but go ahead. You talk about it.
Well, for me, it is the absolute encapsulation visually of what I imagine, because I never went there in the 80s, but what I imagine nocturnal New York was, Manhattan was in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it just from the way it's shot to what people are wearing to what they do. So it's got a quasi narrative where there's a housekeeper in a fancy hotel and she finds the fancy dress of whoever is staying in the room that she's cleaning and fantasizes about putting it on and going out for a night on the town with a handsome guy in a tux and going to a nightclub. And the whole thing is shot with this kind of soft focus, but also with a lot of lens flare. So there's like star flares. I don't know how you describe them, but on all the lights. And it just looks like an 80s ad for like a fancy perfume or something. And I mean that in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you do.
And it's actually semi-effective too. Like you feel like the story a little bit. And Joe is looking dapper, and he's playing the piano in the room next door to the room she's cleaning.
Well, and he has a similar story in a way, right? Because he is just like a hired hand. And you find out at the end of the video that there's like a fancy composer who's staying in the room that he was just sort of borrowing the piano in. So it's, parallel stories kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know if are there any like rain-washed neon streets in that, or do I just feel like there are? Because that's the feeling of the video.
I think there are.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, that maybe for my whole life, that will be my vision of opulence, is like New York at night in the 80s, because that's what I kind of grew up with in a way.
It's just one of those videos that sums up the decade. To me, feels summarized.
I think it's one of them. It gives you a feel.
Yeah, like a lot of these videos that I'm mentioning. I mean, most of these videos are extremely 80s, but some of them are outside the decade for sure. Like the sensual world, like the Kate Bush stuff. That could be from yesterday.
Yeah, it totally could. That's true. Yeah.
So that Steppin' Out, it just feels very 80s. Anyway, what's your number 11?
That was my number 11.
Oh, okay.
I think you have to give your number 11.
Mine was Dancing in the Dark.
Ooh, yeah.
De Palma's
of course.
Springsteen performance video where he pulls Courtney Cox up.
Famous.
And he does this extremely like white man dance he and Mellencamp used to do in all their videos where they would dance. Iconic. It's just one of my favorite dances, the kind of white guy dance.
It's pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like the first time people really knew who Courtney Cox was, or if she was kind of around before that.
I think that was basically her big debut.
Yeah.
And it's not because of her, although I love the idea, and apparently this is a thing that Springsteen does to this day, that he'll pull people up on stage to dance or to perform with him even, to like sing along. Yeah. And I think that's a really cool thing that he does.
It's very generous. And
Springsteen, so many of his videos were performance videos that I just thought, well, I'm going to pick my favorite one, which is Dancing in the Dark.
Yeah.
What's your 10?
Well, we already went through that. Cyndi Lauper, it was Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
My number 10 is Vacation.
Oh, yeah.
By the Go-Go's.
Of course. Why didn't I think of that?
Which is another, it could have been any Go-Go's video in a way. Like we got the beat where they're riding around in the convertible on the streets of Hollywood. Yeah. Or the one you mentioned, Head Over Heels, which is a great video of them kind of dancing in front of primary color backgrounds.
Right.
I went with Vacation because it had, in addition to some of that cheesy dancing around, it also had that hilarious stuff of them doing a water ski show.
Yeah. That's
like they're from
really
they're from the Ozarks. or something.
Yeah.
And they're wearing these ridiculous outfits. If you watch the Go-Go's documentary, they talk about getting absolutely shit-faced while shooting that video so that they could barely stand. And they're wobbling all over the place. And I thought it was because they were pretending that they didn't really know how to water ski.
Yeah.
Turns out I think they were just drunk and they could barely stand.
Oh, dear. Wow.
But yeah, it's such a fun, colorful, just delightful video.
You're right. And
from one of my favorite bands.
I don't know all their videos, but as you're saying this, they're one of few artists who really had an aesthetic thread. Like all their videos kind of, not that they looked the same, but they had a similar aesthetic where I don't think you can say that with every artist.
No, it's true.
It's kind of interesting. Yeah.
So what's your number 9?
That was Madness, Our House.
Okay. My number 9 is Love is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar.
I have that on my list too.
Where did you have it?
I had it at number 3. I just love that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love it because I love it for its 1950s bad girl, rebel, without a cause quality. I love that she gets thrown out of the house.
Yeah.
And she spins around to lecture her dad up on the porch.
Right.
But mostly I love it because it has a dance battle in it.
Of
and
course.
I feel like anything anything that has a dance battle automatically becomes a classic in my book.
Yeah.
I put a dance battle in one of my movies. I love Take Me Home Tonight because it has a dance battle in it.
The movie Take Me Home Tonight.
Yeah, really anything that has a dance battle in it, I'm cool.
100%. I think that's how most of the
There should be more dance battles.
Everywhere there should be more dance battles. That it was my number 3, and that's definitely what gives it lots of points in my mind is the dance battle. But also, you're right. I hadn't thought about how it has this 50s. It's not set in the 50s. I think it's supposed to be contemporary to the time. But
but it has that quality.
It has that 50s, 80s quality, which was for sure a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Oh yeah,
that's definitely a thing. Like the 80s was a real we have a lot of nostalgia for the 80s, but nostalgia in the 80s was big for the 50s. Hence Back to the Future.
Yes, yeah.
And a lot of other kind of movies that you've never heard of, but like The Heavenly Kid and Heaven Help Us. And there were a lot of movies in the 80s that were set nostalgia. In the 50s. Yeah.
I also just love Pat Benatar. I think she looks great. Her voice is amazing. I just love her performance in the music video. Yeah. It's great. And she has this sweet thing with her brother in it that
that's right. Yeah.
Makes me happy. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah.
What's your number 8?
My number 8 is Aha's Take on Me.
Holy smokes. See, now this is the one I thought that was going to be your number 1. This is my number 1.
I think this was just...
I don't know.
I know.
I don't know how...
What's wrong with me?
I don't know how you can argue that there was ever been a better music video than this video.
You're right. There isn't.
This video is so good. I would say it's better than most of the best feature films ever made.
I mean, maybe I should have it higher. I think it's not
now
that
I'm really
I don't...
curious what your number 1 is.
I do think it's probably the best music video probably ever made. But I think this is just me being well, I'm just going to do the music videos I enjoy watching over and over and that I gravitate toward. It's not so much what I think are the best technical achievements, but this is also just, you're right. I like watching this over and over.
As with our lists of films and other things on this show, for me, it's always a combination of trying to balance the stuff I think that is the best with the stuff that is my favorite. And oftentimes most of the time, those are the same thing, although not always, right?
You're right. It should be number 1. And maybe I should just switch it, but it's
no, you should.
It's a fantastic music. It's amazing. I would watch this over and over again too. I just think it's an astonishing. Yeah. I think it's as good as if you would make it today. Yeah. It's
so
amazing.
Criminally. If there's anyone out there that hasn't seen it,
we should explain.
It's a rotoscoped video. It's one of the first.
Partially,
really
right? It's
prominent.
Half rotoscope, half human. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a love story essentially between a guy that's in the hand-drawn world, I don't know what you would call it, and the girl,
right.
In
the real world, right?
Yeah, in the real world, and their desire to be together, and it's done with this beautiful, seamless.
It's astonishingly good, still. I think.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm trying to think of what I've seen that I have liked the animation in better than this movie. Maybe Beauty and the Beast, but that would be it. I don't know.
It's a very different kind too.
Yeah.
And the way, I don't know what year that is, but the seamless.
I want to say 83.
Boy, I mean, the seamlessness of this video in 1983, that's astonishing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's an amazing music video. I don't know that anyone's ever going to make a better one. You're right. It should
I also
be
love
#1.
how they spoof it briefly in the opening credits of Music and Lyrics.
Oh, do they spoof it?
Yeah.
I mean, they spoof a lot of things at the beginning of that.
Now, you remember where he's like throwing himself side to side in the hallway?
Right. Is that? I guess that's from. You're right. That is from Take on Me.
Take on Me.
Yeah. By the way, that's that. I wish I could put that on my list. It's not really an 80s.
Pop Goes Your Heart.
Pop Goes My Heart. The beginning of Music and Lyrics is just one of the best. I don't know, tributes to 80s music videos you'll probably ever see in your life.
So that was your number 8.
Yeah, I feel
my
bad
number
now.
8
It
is
should be
my
higher.
number 8 is a movie is one that most people would be like, how is that so low? Which is Thriller.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm.
And
right.
Kind of like you said, I think there's some kind of thing that's like, well, how many times can somebody watch and talk about Thriller? I mean, of course, it's one of the greatest music videos, if not the greatest music video ever made.
Yeah.
It probably is. It's probably better than Take on Me, frankly. There's a reason it topped both the readers and editors polls at Rolling Stone.
It's an amazing.
But it is great.
Yeah.
Like it,
of course,
it, like
it's great.
I watch it once every couple years, and it holds up. It's just so much fun. Like everything about it is so much fun, and that dance didn't become that dance for no reason. It's like
the Thriller dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and this is another instance of 80s, 50s nostalgia, right? It's the monster movies of the 1950s.
Yeah.
And it's
really one where you can see the imprimatur of the director more so than in most videos.
Right.
Like this has John Landis all over it, right?
Absolutely.
He loved monster movies. It feels way more like a John Landis film than it does like a Michael Jackson video to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your number 7?
Well, I'm realizing now that what I should have done is put Aha above both of these. I had my 8 and my 7 are from the same people, but
okay.
Or I'm sorry, my 7 and my 6, I guess.
Okay.
I had Heart These Dreams. I love a Heart music video.
Oh yeah.
And I love that song. So
that's
I don't know.
That one
It's
is
mostly
essentially a performance video, right? It's them on stage.
I think that's part of it,
Nancy
but it's also
Wilson
just like
doing
Nancy.
a lot of kicks.
I think she's
A
like
lot of high kicks.
I think part of it is she's like roaming around a kind of, again, sort of fantasy, almost legendy kind of situation is part of it too. It's not only performance. And I love that kind of thing. I don't know.
I'm an hard time remembering it.
Yeah.
My number 7 is my second Kate Bush video on my list, which is Running Up That Hill.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is just essentially her and a guy doing modern dance in a studio.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's like just so much fun to watch. And she's such an amazing performer.
She is, yeah.
And such a great dancer.
Yeah.
That it was just... In fact, I didn't realize that she was really a dancer until I saw that video, and that was really eye-opening to me. I was like, "Whoa,
no, that's some
Kate
like
Bush
real
is
dance.
like a really, really good
She's trained.
dancer."
Yeah, for sure.
Like she could do this professionally if she couldn't sing. That's how good she is.
Yes,
yeah,
I think that's true. Go ahead. Sorry.
Is that video on your list?
It is actually not.
Wow.
I do have another Kate Bush video, but it's not that one.
All right, what's your number 6?
I had Hearts Alone because I love.
Oh, another Heart.
Yeah, I love Heart, and I love that video. I mean, I guess there's not
that
much
video
to it,
depresses me.
Yeah, it is a little. I guess that's a little depressing.
Because does it depress you for the same reason?
I think so. Yeah, I assume you're going to say because they try so hard not to shoot
Ann Wilson.
And yeah, I know that is sad.
Yeah.
Well, now I feel bad having it on the list. But I love that song and I love them and I don't know.
People have no idea what we're talking about though.
Yeah,
So in Alone, the Hart sisters, Nancy and Ann Wilson. Ann was significantly heavier than Nancy at that time.
Yeah.
And you can tell that it was like a decision of the label or whoever, management, or somebody's decision that they would shoot Nancy you would see her whole body. And so she's running around stage, she's dancing, she's kicking her leg out, Nancy Wilson style, she's grinding the guitar. And then every time you see Ann, who, by the way, is the lead vocal on that song.
She is. Yeah.
It's just in a you're so close into her face that you can't even see her chin.
Or she's far
and the
away
top
and
of
like
her
up on
head.
a balcony. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's from like a half mile away.
Right.
And it's just like, you can just tell they're trying to hide Ann Wilson's weight, which isn't even that big. She wasn't even that big in that video.
No.
So it's just sort of like, I mean, that was where
the business.
That was where the music videos as a medium could be a little rough. I said, that there were artists from the 70s that were great that just kind of faded away in the 80s because they couldn't make it in a music video market. Yeah. You had to look a certain way.
Yeah. Well, but you're right. That is a sad thing, and it's a good thing we talked about it. I guess I just love them so much, and I think they look so cool, even though they're totally cheesy 80s out. Their hair is huge. They're wearing crazy 80s outfits, but I actually like the 80s aesthetic of it, and I just like them so much.
My number 6 is, I kind of in a way have 4 Kate Bush things on my list.
Oh, okay.
This isn't technically her, but she's all over it. It's Don't Give Up by Peter Gabriel.
Oh, yeah, lovely.
Which is very, I think when people think of Peter Gabriel as one of the great video artists, they think of stuff like Sledgehammer or Big Time, which are these kind of experimental animations.
Stop motion.
And I actually always kind of found those videos a little hard to look at.
I did too.
They kind of give me a headache.
I respect them and appreciate them, but I can't really watch them.
Yeah. And he's one of like my top 3 or 4 favorite artists of all time.
Agreed. Yeah.
And I love his pretentious artiness. And so I want to love those videos. I just don't. However, Don't Give Up is one of the few music videos that like made me tear up the first time I saw it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It's
so touching.
It's pretty much a single shot of him. I mean, that song is so intensely moving.
It's a really moving song,
But the video, and Kate Bush sings the female lead on that song. And the video
recording.
is just the two of them hugging.
Yeah.
And it's so weirdly moving. It's just this one, I think it might even be one shot if I remember right.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah.
But they perform the whole song in an embrace. And it's just really...
Which is so experimental
really
in its own way, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super moving. Gosh, that's beautiful. I had forgotten about that. Lovely.
What's your number 5?
That was DeBarge's Rhythm of the Night.
My number 5 was Small Town by John Mellencamp.
Oh, sure.
Which might be my favorite song of all time because it reminds me so much of my childhood growing up in a small town in the Midwest, like John Mellencamp did. And the video is nothing that anyone besides people like me would get excited about, but it's essentially a document of the town outside of Bloomington, Indiana, where he grew up, and it is very nostalgic. And he does some funny white men dancing in it too.
It's great. Was this when he was John Cougar, or I think he was John Cougar at this point?
This was when he was John Cougar, much
Cougar
to his chagrin.
Yeah, he didn't like that. Fair enough.
What was your number 4?
We talked about it. Kate Bush, The Sensual World.
Mine was Steppin' Out, which we talked about.
Yeah.
What's your number 3?
We talked about this. Pat Benatar's Love is a Battlefield.
My number 3 is Hounds of Love by Kate Bush.
Okay. Also on my list.
Okay. Where was it on your list?
That's my number 1.
That's your number 1?
That's my number 1.
Yeah, that's a great... Well, I was close.
Yeah,
I had it at
close.
3.
Yeah.
So it was close. This makes me wonder if our number 2 is the same.
It might be.
I bet it is.
I'm wondering that too now.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, Hounds of Love.
Yes. Obviously,
such a
I love
great...
this.
it's my favorite Kate Bush song.
Yes.
It's just such a propulsive song, and the video matches it, and it has this kind of World War II espionage quality. She looks like a spy in World War II.
Well, it evokes the 39 Steps for me.
Yes, exactly.
It's like Hitchcock. It's like she just knows her film, right? And she's like doing Hitchcock, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. I love it.
Is your number 2 And We Danced by the Hooters? Yeah, mine too.
We should talk about
funny.
That is funny.
And we should talk about it because I bet most people have no idea what this video is, if they even remembered the song.
Yeah.
For those of you, if you don't remember the song, it's a song. The Hooters had an unfortunate name because, of course, it became a chicken wings restaurant.
Yes.
But in the 80s, the Hooters was a band, and they had a couple hits, but their biggest hit was And We Danced, which goes something like this. And we danced like the wave on the ocean romanced.
We were liars in love. Yeah, it's a rousing song. You guys should go listen to it if you've never heard it. It's so much fun.
And the video is set in a drive-in movie theater.
Yeah.
and it is the most fun you can probably have while watching a music video. I think it's a party. It's people sneaking in the trunk of the car.
Yeah.
It's a shy girl who has a crush on the guy that works at the refreshment stand and winks at him and causes him to drop the popcorn. And the band gets up on the stage in front of the screen and plays the song, and people slowly get out of their cars and start to dance.
Yeah.
And it's like a pleasure injection straight to the center of your brain. That's how much fun and how charming and lovely and wonderful it is.
I mean, it's like what I think life should be like, that video. It's like, I want to live in that video because it's like, it's multi-generational. There's like older people, younger people, they're all getting out and dancing. Like everyone's having a great time. You know, there's a band playing at the drive-in. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's so good. And I think it's actually, I don't know, you tell me. I think it's actually pretty well shot. It actually, to me, looks
It looks great. It's edited wonderfully.
Yeah. And it looks like, I mean, it actually looks like it could happen. Could have been made today to me, except for maybe the clothes.
Yeah.
But
and other really artists have tried to rip it off and steal from it.
Oh, really? I didn't know
that. Blake Shelton's remake of Footloose is the same idea. And if you want to see how to do it and not capture any of that magic, watch his video and then go watch the original Hooters and We Danced. So number one, you had Hounds of Love.
Kate Bush's Hounds of Love.
I had Take On Me by a-ha. So yeah, that wraps it up. That's a good, solid couple of lists there. We had a lot of overlap. So. I think if people don't know 80s music videos, they have a lot of ideas now to run to YouTube and look things up. And this is something Lisa and I do on the reg.
Oh, it's so much fun.
We'll usually too late. We'll it'll be like 11 o'clock and we'll be like, we should go to bed. There's school tomorrow. And then I put on a music video, which auto plays into another one, and the next thing we know, it's 1 a.m. and we're still laying there watching 80s music videos.
Well, what I love is that you will curate a list and play it for me, and I won't know what's coming next. I'm always like, what's going to be next? What's going to be next? I love that. It's really fun.
Well, I used to love like DJing in college and stuff. So this is my only opportunity to keep doing that, is to DJ my little music video lists for my audience of one, which is you. Well,
I highly recommend folks at home to do the same. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
All right, that wraps up our deep dive into 80s music videos. Thanks for hanging with us, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. We'll see you next time. You've been listening to The Long Rewind. The program is produced by Dustin Morrow and hosted by me, Lisa Molinelli. If you enjoy the show, please consider hitting the subscribe button, leave us a good review on your podcast app, and tell your friends about the program. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.